Norway in a Nutshell is the country's most iconic self-guided tour designed to showcase the highlights of Norway's dramatic fjords and mountains in a single seamless journey. Available year-round, this trip connects Oslo and Bergen using a combination of scenic trains, a cruise fjord, and bus ride through stunning valleys. For my Norway in a Nutshell journey, I did a Bergen to Bergen journey, which included the Bergen Railway, the Flam Railway, Fjord Cruise, and bus journey from Gudvangen to Voss. The Norway in a Nutshell tour is a world-famous self-guided travel concept created by Fjord Tours in 1982. It was designed to link Norway's most spectacular public transportation routes into a single seamless journey, allowing travelers to see the country's diverse landscapes from high mountains to deep fjords in a single day. The tour was born from a single yet innovative idea to package existing scheduled public transportation services, train, boats, and buses into a continuous itinerary. This self-guided freedom model allows visitors to experience the essence of Norway without the need for a traditional tour guide or private vehicle. While this tour concept is decades old, the infrastructure it relies on has a much longer history. The Bergen Railway was completed in 1909. This 300-mile-feet of engineering peaks at 4,266 feet, far above the tree line. It was a monumental achievement involving the construction of over 300 bridges and 200 tunnels. The Flam Railway was constructed between 1923 and 1940. It was built to connect the mountain stations of Myrdal and the fjord village of Flåm. This 20-kilometer line is one of the world's steepest standard gauge tracks. The Nali tunnel alone took 11 years to hand dig through the mountainside. The Stalheim-Skallvilla, built between 1842 and 1846, was traditionally the bus leg of the tour included on the bus journey between Voss and Gudvangen. It's one of the steepest roads in Northern Europe, though it is currently closed for upgrades and safety assessments. Over the years, the tour has evolved to meet modern travel and environmental standards. Originally centered on the Oslo to Bergen route, it now offers variation starting points from Voss and even Flåm itself. The traditional Fjord Cruise vessels are increasingly being replaced by silent electric ships to protect the UNESCO-listed Naeroyfjord. What was once a seasonal summer offering is now available 362 days a year, except on December 24th, 25th, and January 1st. You can start the tour from Oslo, Bergen, Flåm, Voss, or Jello. Choose a one-way journey such as Oslo to Bergen, or Bergen to Oslo, or Bergen to Bergen, returning to your starting city. A round trip from Bergen usually takes 9 to 14 hours depending on connections and season. Many travelers choose to extend the tour with overnight stays and local activities for a more relaxed and memorable experience. Hotels and activities can easily be added when booking your tour. Norway in a Nutshell tour includes the narrow UNESCO-listed Naeroyfjord and Naerodalen Valley, beautiful mountain landscapes, the historic Glemsbana, the Flam Railway, cascading waterfalls, the scenic Bergensbanen or Bergen Railway, and the charming fjord village of Flåm. The classic route can be completed in one long day or be broken up with overnight stays for a more relaxed pace. It typically includes the Bergen Railway, a scenic high mountain train journey between Bergen and Myrdal, The Flam Railway, one of the world's steepest and most beautiful rail journeys, the Fjord Cruise through the Fjord and UNESCO-listed Naeroyfjord, Europe's narrowest fjord, and a bus journey from Gudvangen to Voss. Key stops and highlights on this route include Flåm, the Voss-Bergen waterfall, and the Naeroyfjord. Flåm is a charming fjord village nestled at the end of the Fjord. It's a popular spot for an overnight stay to enjoy activities like hiking, cycling, or visiting the Flam Railway Museum. The Voss-Bergen waterfall is a powerful 93-meter cascade where the Flam Railway makes a short photo stop. You might even see a lady in red dancing by the falls during the summer. The Naeroyfjord is a narrow, dramatic fjord flanked by mountain walls rising up to 1,700 meters. Journey through the heart of Norway's magnificent fjord region on an unforgettable journey. This careful, curated, low-emission tour brings you face-to-face with Norway's most breathtaking landscape. Create your perfect fjord experience by adding curated activities along this spectacular route. You can also experience this breathtaking tour in the winter. However, due to raw and unpredictable nature of the Naeroyfjord, route changes can happen at short notice during the winter season. In that case, the boat will run a return trip from Flåm with the option of a connecting bus between Gudvangen and Flåm. The Norway in a Nutshell tour is very popular, and tickets can sell out quickly, especially during the peak summer months between June and September. For best availability, I would recommend booking 3 to 6 months in advance. On some routes, last-minute tickets may be available up to the day before departure, but this is not guaranteed during busy months. Food is not included in the Norway in a Nutshell, but there are multiple options to buy food along the route. You'll find restaurants, bakeries, and food shops in Oslo, Bergen, Flåm, Voss, and Gudvangen. The electric Fjord Cruise has onboard kiosks with drinks and hot and cold dishes, as well as beer and wine. While you can buy a pre-packaged ticket through Fjord Tours, savvy travelers often book each leg independently to save money, as the official package is essentially a collection of public transportation tickets. The best time to visit is between May through September, which offers the best weather and long daylight hours, though winter tours provide a quiet, snow-capped perspective. Choose Fjord Tours for great deals on vacations in Norway. They offer a wide range of tours exploring some of the most popular tourist routes across this spectacular country. Among these are the infamous Norway in a Nutshell tour, which allows you to get all of the best of Norway fjords. Discover breathtaking nature and one of the world's most spectacular fjords on this iconic tour. The Norway in a Nutshell tour brings you close to stunning nature in a responsible way with emission-free transport. Ride the rails on 2 top-of-the-line train journeys in the world and cruise the fjord on a quiet electric Fjord Cruise. The Bergen to Myrdal section of the Bergen Railway is a 2-hour journey that marks the transition from the coastal city of 7 mountains to the high-altitude wilderness of Norway's interior. It is the standard starting or ending point for the Norway in a Nutshell tour.
don't know if I can find my way out. In this tiny and everything is curling up tight. There's nowhere to fall into the ocean. I'm reaching out, I'm reaching out. The water is rising over me. The water is rising. It's coming. I'm reaching out, I'm reaching out. The water is rising over me.
The journey highlights the ascent to the mountains, Voss, and engineering marvels as the tracks wind through deep forests and past emerald rivers, eventually entering the Gravhals Tunnel, which was a major engineering feat when completed in 1905. The train climbs from sea level in Bergen to 867 meters at Myrdal Station. About halfway through, you'll stop at Voss. Passengers can see the Voss gondol departing directly from the station platform, heading up to Mount Hagren.
I don't know if I can find my way out. I'm stuck in a prison of doubt. In this tiny shell.
Travel comfortably through changing scenery from forts to mountains. Experience one of National Geographic's top-rated train journeys.
And nobody is watching at night. The water rising.
Myrdal is a unique mountain station with no road access. It exists solely as a railway junction between Bergen and Flåm. It serves as a transfer point. Here, passengers disembark from the mainline Bergen Railway to catch the world-famous Flamsbana for its steep descent to the fjord. Myrdal is the starting point for the Voss-Bergen, the Navy's Road, a historic construction road now popular for mountain biking and hiking. The Flam Railway has been described as one of the most beautiful train journeys in the world and is one of the leading tourist attractions in Norway. The train runs from the end of the Fjord, a tributary of the Fjord, up to the high mountains at Myrdal Station. Board the Flam Railway between Myrdal and Flåm. Ride one of the steepest and most beautiful railways in the world. Experience the historic train as it climbs from valley to mountain station of Myrdal, a short journey packed with the contrast of fjord, rivers, waterfalls, and farms.
Reaching out, I'm reaching in. The water is rising over me.
The Flam Railway, or Flamsbana, is a 20-kilometer masterpiece of engineering that descends 864 meters from the mountain station of Myrdal to the village of Flåm at sea level. It is one of the world's steepest standard gauge railways, with 80% of the journey on a sharp 5.5% gradient.
I'm reaching out, I'm reaching. It's coming in. The water is rising over me.
The Flam Railway is a masterpiece of engineering that took over 20 years to build, has 20 tunnels, and is 20 kilometers long. Trial operations started in 1940 with small steam locomotives, and the line was fully electrified in 1944. The railway was built to connect Sogn and Fjordane County with the rest of the rail network in Norway, thereby improving communication with the innermost part of the country.
I don't know if I can find my way out. I'm stuck in a prison of doubt. In this
Stop at the mighty Kostfossen waterfall, a thundering 93-meter cascade.
and nobody is watching at night. The water rising. Need a friend.
A one-way trip on the Flamsbana takes approximately 1 hour. The train passes through 8 to 11 stations, including a dedicated 5-minute photo stop at the massive Kostfossen waterfall. During summer stops at Kostfossen, you may see a dancer dressed in red performing to music by the falls. To manage the descent, the track features 20 tunnels, 18 of which were excavated by hand. One tunnel even makes a 180-degree turn inside the mountain.
In this and everything is going up tight. There's no room to
Over the course of 1 hour, the train takes you from sea level at Sognasfjord in Flåm to the mountain station in Myrdal, situated at 867 meters above sea level. Myrdal station is also on the Bergen line, meaning the Flam Railway connects with trains running between Bergen and Oslo.
reaching out, I'm reaching in. The water is rising over me.
The Flam Railway is one of the steepest standard gauge railway lines in the world, with 80% of the journey running on a gradient of 5.5%. The train runs through spectacular scenery alongside the Raillar Road, vertiginous mountainsides, foaming waterfalls through 20 tunnels, and offers so many viewpoints that for many people a single trip up and down is not enough. The Flam Railway or Flamsbane takes you from the high mountain plateau at Myrdal Station to the ford, down the steep valley to the ford village of Flåm. The railway is Norway's most popular tourist attraction and was ranked as #1 in Lonely Planet Traveler's list of the world's most incredible train journeys of 2014. In Fjord, Norway, on the innermost bank of the Fjord, you'll find the small village of Flåm. After passing through fairy-like scenery, the historic train arrives at the station in the middle of the town. Flåm is a picturesque village at the head of the Fjord, an arm of the world's longest and deepest fjord, the Fjord. Though home to only about 350 residents, it attracts nearly 450,000 visitors annually due to its role as the centerpiece of the Norway in a Nutshell route. This charming fjord village has been welcoming tourists for nearly 200 years, so Flåm knows a thing or two about hospitality. Flåm is the perfect starting point for exploring some of the most spectacular natural attractions in Norway, with a wide variety of things to do.
Need a friend to shake me out again.
The village of Flåm serves as a hub for both relaxation and intense outdoor adventure. The Stegastein viewpoint is a dramatic platform extending 30 meters over the mountainside. It stands 650 meters above the fjord, offering panoramic views. From Flåm, you can take Fjord Cruises through the UNESCO-listed Naeroyfjord. For adventurous people, you can take the Flåm zip line, which is the longest zip line in the Nordic countries, spanning 1,381 meters, with speeds up to 100 kilometers per hour. On your stop in Flåm, you can enjoy the gorgeous fjord scenery, taste local cuisine, or join in on fun activities. You can explore the UNESCO-listed Nærøyfjord by RIB boat or get a bird's eye view of the Fjord on a sightseeing tour to Stegastein viewpoint.
Reaching out, I'm reaching you now. The water is rising over me. The water is rising. It's coming. I'm reaching out, I'm reaching you now. The water is rising over me. The water is rising. I'm reaching. It's coming. I'm reaching. Don't know if I can find my way out. I'm stuck in a prison of doubt. In this tiny shell, and everything is growing up tight. There's no room to breathe. And nobody is watching at night. The water rises. Need a friend to shake me out again. Need a friend.
The Flam Railway is considered one of the most beautiful rail journeys in the world and is one of Norway's major tourist attractions. If you buy your Flam Railway ticket separately, you want to book tickets from Myrdal to Flåm. Buy tickets for the Flam Railway on VY's official website.
Sun is falling, speed in the black. Nobody driving, we're in the back. To the end of the world.
Join a Fjord Cruise in the UNESCO World Heritage Landscape in one of the most popular fjord areas in Norway. Experience the serene beauty of the narrowest fjord arm in Europe. Glide silently through this fjord on a modern zero-emission Fjord Cruise. Enjoy comfortable seating and panoramic views surrounded by 1,700-meter mountain peaks.
Fortune teller, deck in her hand. Fool arcana lifts off the land. The gravity of you. The gravity of you. Tides will rise, tides will fall. It'll always be true. Tides will rise, tides will fall. There's nothing we can do. How many suns? We don't know.
The Fjord Cruise from Flåm to Gudvangen is the scenic heart of the Norway in a nutshell route. This 2-hour journey takes you through two of Norway's most spectacular fjord arms, the idyllic Ålandsfjord and the UNESCO-listed Naeroyfjord, which is Europe's narrowest fjord. The Nærøyfjord is the narrowest and best known of the many arms of the Sognefjord, with its steep mountainsides, hanging valleys, towering peaks, snowfields, waterfalls, and small hamlets. This fjord is perhaps the most outstanding natural attractions in Norway.
The end of the world. I will love you to the end of the world.
The Nærøyfjord is only 20 kilometers long, only 250 meters across at its narrowest, and a mere 12 meters at its shallowest. The surrounding mountains reach heights of approximately 1,700 meters, and the fjord is one of the multiple highlights on several fjord tours.
Fortune teller, deck in her hand. Fool arcana lifts off the land. The gravity of you. The gravity of you. Tides will rise, tides will fall. It'll always be true. Tides will rise, tides will fall. There's nothing we can do. How many suns? We don't know. Our supernova tells us when we have to go. To the end of the world. To the end of the world. To the end of the world. I will love you to the end of the world. Sun is falling, speed in the black. Nobody driving, we're in the back. To the end of the world.
UNESCO has included the Naeroyfjord and the Fjord in its famous World Heritage List. The fords have also been awarded first place in the prestigious list of the National Geographic Traveler magazine. During a cruise on the Naeroyfjord, you will have excellent views of small traditional farms clinging on the mountainsides. If you are lucky, you can see goats grazing right beside the fjord and seals basking on the rocks along the fjord.
Fortune teller, deck in her hand. Fool arcana lifts off the land.
The narrow and spectacular Naeroyfjord is surrounded by steep valleys and snow-covered peaks that rise as high as 1,800 meters above sea level, with thundering waterfalls and picturesque villages along the fjord. Regardless of season, a cruise on the Naeroyfjord will be an unforgettable journey.
Sun is falling, speed in the black. Nobody
The two vessel vision and future of the forts represent a brand new standard in design and technology. They have been designed to maximize the tourist experience during any kind of weather, with large windows and walkways inspired by the winding trails of steep mountain terrain. Passengers are encouraged to go out on the top deck and enjoy a very different experience compared to traditional passenger vessels. Inside the vessel, you will find Nordic-inspired interior design offering a high level of comfort. The Vision is a hybrid vessel while the Future is a fully electric vessel. Both vessels sail along the most exposed and spectacular part of the Naeroyfjord, running on battery power only and keeping to a speed of less than 10 knots, gliding through the dramatic UNESCO protected Naeroyfjord on a silent, eco-friendly vessel.
The gravity of you. The gravity of you. Tides will rise, tides will fall. It'll always be true. Tides will rise, tides
Facts about the Naeroyfjord. It's approximately 17 kilometers long. It's one of the narrowest fjords in Europe. The depth of the fjord varies between 12 and 500 meters deep. It's 250 meters wide at its narrowest point and more than 1 kilometer wide at its widest. The fjord is an arm of the Fjord. It's surrounded by towering mountains and was included on UNESCO's World Heritage List in 2005.
Fortune teller, deck in her hand. Fool arcana lives on the land. The gravity of you. The gravity of you. Tides will rise, tides will fall. It'll always be true. Tides will rise, tides will fall. There's nothing we can do.
Every season leaves its own unique touch on the fjord landscape. Frosty colors, white mountain peaks, and ice-covered waterfalls during the winter times, blooming deciduous trees and birds chirping during the spring, green trees and long bright nights during the summer, and golden terrain with fresh and clear air during the autumn.
To the end of the world. To the end of the world. To the end of the world. I will love you to the end of the world.
Experience the best of Western Norway on a full-day guided bus tour from Bergen. Enjoy a 2-hour cruise on the Naeroyfjord, visit Flåm, and admire views from the Stegastein viewpoint with lunch included. Relax on a comfortable bus ride along the Oysterfjord via Voss to Gudvangen. Use my link to join this guided tour from Bergen using GetYourGuide. On this tour, you get to experience the cultural Viking village in Naeroyfjord, cruise through the UNESCO World Heritage Site, Naeroyfjorden, and the most beautiful train journey, the Flam Railway. Use my link to join this guided tour from Bergen using GetYourGuide. Gudvangen is beautifully situated at the head of the Naeroyfjord. Gudvangen is actually an old Viking village with a lot of character and a myriad of adventures waiting to be discovered. With its dramatic and spectacular scenery, Gudvangen has been a magnet for tourists for more than a century. Today, it is the Viking Valley that attracts tourists from all over the world, as well as its beautiful UNESCO fjord landscape, of course. The Viking Valley, or Jordheimer, is a living Viking village where residents live according to 1,000-year-old traditions. Visitors can participate in archery, axe throwing, and guided Viking experience tours. According to the Flam Travel Guide, this is one of the most unique stops in the region. The bus journey from Gudvangen and Voss is a 45 to 55 minute scenic transition from deep fjords to high mountain landscape. This lake is famous for the Stalheimskel-Levi Harpen Road, though most modern buses now use the E16 tunnels for year-round reliability. See the beautiful landscapes of the Naeroyfjord Valley. Enjoy a comfortable bus tour past picturesque waterfalls and quaint farms. See towering cliffs rising up to 1,800 meters on either side, creating a dramatic and awe-inspiring landscape. Past thundering waterfalls and emerald green rivers carving their way through the valley. Watch traditional Norwegian farms and untouched wilderness unfold from your comfortable bus. Most travelers will take bus 950, which is synchronized with arrival of the Fjord Cruise in Gudvangen. The bus from Gudvangen to Voss takes approximately 50 minutes from the departure point in Gudvangen, where buses will wait directly at the ferry pier. The bus stop at the Voss bus terminal is approximately a 2-minute walk from Voss railway station, where your train connection to Bergen awaits. This bus route between Gudvangen and Voss takes you through Naeroyfjord Valley, surrounded by steep mountains, rivers along the road, and waterfalls falling from the cliffs. Gudvangen sits at the end of the UNESCO-listed Naeroyfjord. Voss is a mountain town with a train stop along the Bergen line. Here you will catch your connection train to Bergen. Historically, this bus ride included the Stalheimskel-Levi, one of the steepest roads in Northern Europe with 13 hairpin bends. However, in 2026, the road remains closed due to heavy traffic and safety concerns. On the scenic bus ride from Gudvangen to Voss, you will drive through Naeroyfjord with the fantastic UNESCO landscape passing by outside your window. The Naeroyfjord is a typical fjord valley in that it is a continuation of a fjord that ends in a steep mountainside, in this case at Stalheim. During your journey between Gudvangen and Voss, you will pass by waterfalls that may be frozen or foaming rivers, as well as steep mountains. Voss Station is a critical transit hub in western Norway, serving as a primary gateway for travelers transitioning between Bergen Railway and the Norway in a Nutshell bus leg. It is located at an altitude of 57 meters and is situated between the shores of Lake Vansvatnet and the town center. The Voss bus station is immediately adjacent to the train tracks. This is where you would catch bus 950 to Gudvangen. Voss Gondol is directly connected to Voss Station and immediately whisks visitors up to Mount Hangaren in less than 9 minutes for panoramic views. Inside the station, there is a small cafe and several local eateries within a 5-minute walk of the station. Regular train services run west to Bergen and east to Myrdal. You can check schedules for trains on VY's official website. The station is fully wheelchair accessible with elevators connecting the platforms to street level and the gondol terminal. Some nearby point of interest to the station include Fleischer's Hotel and Voss Church. Fleischer's Hotel is a historic 19th century hotel situated right next to the station. Voss Church is a stone church dating back to 1277, located a short walk from the station. The train ride between Voss and Bergen is the final scenic leg of the popular self-guided tour. You could take the relaxing 1-hour train ride on the Bergen Railway, traversing mountain landscapes, tunnels, and valleys before reaching the historic coastal city of Bergen. If you're traveling at night, it is better to take R40, the regional train, as you won't have much to see at night. The journey from Voss to Bergen takes approximately 1 hour through picturesque scenery, transitioning from high mountain scenery down towards the fjord and coast. The railway line runs through valleys and tunnels. If you're heading towards Bergen, try to sit on the left side for the views. Visit Railninja for a train schedule from Voss to Bergen. Doing the Norway in a Nutshell tour is the most efficient way to see Norway's legendary fjords and mountains in a single trip, especially if you have limited time. It's a legendary self-guided route that seamlessly connects trains, buses, and cruises in a single journey. The trip includes the Flam Railway, often cited as one of the most beautiful train rides in the world. It drops 2,800 feet in just 55 minutes, passing through the Kåsfossen waterfall. You'll glide through the Naeroyfjord, a UNESCO-listed World Heritage Site, on an eco-friendly silent vessel. You can experience UNESCO-listed fjords, snow-capped mountains, and thundering waterfalls in as little as a day. While you can DIY the bookings to save money, the official package coordinates all connections, so you never have to worry about missing a ferry or bus. In my next vlog, I will be visiting Bergen, the fish market, and the city center in Bergen.